anything you can share about today's practice?
Yeah, the big thing challenging the guys was coming out after a day off, starting fast. I thought we did that. Last Tuesday was maybe the one practice I can point to where we were a little sluggish coming out of the gate. We got together, and the rest of the practice was great. Today, the guys did it on their own, which is just continue to learn, continue to grow, understand what has to be done each and every day. So good day, working some clutch and things like that, or 2-minute and drill. We haven't done as much of that. That's one of the things we got to take care of here over the next week and a half.
Any highlight plays or standout players on one of your few full pad days?
We did not go any live. We didn't do anything like that. I felt really comfortable with where we were at Saturday on top of the other live days last week. So none of that. There wasn't a lot of scrimmaging. We actually got into a little bit of crossover as far as some scout team work and some things like that. So focus was really good. There wasn't a lot of the competitive, what you're looking for with big plays from a certain side of the ball. It was a lot of service towards what the other side's trying to accomplish with putting in a game plan.
Just with less than 2 weeks before the first game, what's the mindset of the team or just the energy of the team right now?
Yeah, the energy's good. I think Saturday was the culmination of a really good week, and it was a buildup that happened. And so now the key is that we get back into another week, and there's a strong routine. We're still not in school. That starts next week. So it's just a matter of being consistent and heading this direction. So that's the mindset, and not getting ahead of ourselves. There's some things that can be distractions later in the week, but we have a big kickoff dinner and later in the week, and obviously there's no scrimmage to look forward to. The guys do that, but we also know we're nearing in on week 1 against UConn.
With school starting next week, what do you tell the guys as far as time management, when school starts and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a lot of what we're talking this week. Today, in fact, we have our director of student services and head of academics, Sean, coming in and just talking about those very things, time management. Guys are getting their books today, so a lot of that, normal feel to a fall with campus and school, that's starting to happen, starting to be real.
Coach, with how successful Ronnie was last year, have you seen him even improve so far into fall camp here?
Yeah, he's been off limits with a lot of our scrimmages and stuff. So, he's been doing this for a while, and he looks as good as I've ever seen him. And that goes back to what we saw him throughout the spring, the winter, and summer with all the workouts and training, and his times, whether it be pro agilities or competing in different mat drills that we do over the winter months. He's had a full off season that's healthy. His carryover of his injury didn't last long after the season was over, so he's ready to go. I think the biggest thing, I've talked about it quite a bit, is his leadership. I just see that being such a stronger piece to who he is, and I think it's going to make our whole team a lot better.
Speaking of leadership, with Jake and Ronnie being captains, can you explain why them in particular, and explain their characteristics as a leader?
Yeah, well, when a team picks your captains, a lot of it's based on the production, right? And so those are two of our most productive players each and every week. And then there are two guys that just work extremely hard. You're never going to see those guys miss a workout. They're finding solutions. They're finding ways to make things better. And the whole team sees that. So, when you have guys that are great character, guys that work extremely hard, guys that produce on the field, and now, the leadership qualities that those guys bring, they don't just hold themselves accountable, they hold the entire team accountable. Really strong reasons why they were voted captains.
With the two scrimmages behind you, what does the timeline look like in terms of position battles and solidifying your 2 deep?
Yeah, I think we have a 2 deep that's not 100%, but getting close. And there are some battles, and I think, we're looking probably by Thursday, Friday for sure to have those last spots ironed out. But, we have a 2 deep that's on paper. And I think for the most part, if someone's not in that position and they're in competition, we're playing probably both those guys. You get in, especially on the defensive side, there's a lot of rotation amongst positions. You play multiple D linemen, multiple D ends, couple different corners, and so there's a lot of guys that are going to get some chances to play because we feel like they can. So Maybe a spot or two that we're still sorting out the exact starter when the first play happens, on August 28th. But for the most part, we're in a spot we feel comfortable with.
Could you share maybe a couple of those positions you've got your eye on over the next couple of days?
There's just, honestly, it's just a matter of who's named the starter. Like when I talk about D-line, there's probably a 3 to 4 man rotation in there that we're going to constantly go with. So, Kevin Atkins and, Leonard Payne and Evan Bennett, Matt Lawson played a lot last year. So, it's just a matter of who's on paper the starter. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. The receiving core is so deep. It's hard to, again, name who the starter is going to be because I look at it and I think we got 6 starters, and so that's the hardest part. We're very comfortable with it. So, but we'll throw someone out there, play one, and some of it might depend on what the play is, what the play calls are. So, and who brings the strengths in that particular play.
You mentioned some freshmen earlier in camp. Have there been any other players that are kind of teetering between redshirt and maybe contributing for you this year?
Yeah, I think Amari Pate at our Husky position is a guy that, we haven't talked a lot about him. I know when we meet here, and we've been talking a lot about Trey Watson and some of the guys like that, but Amari has been a consistent guy every single day. Physically, he's just much more developed, and he's mentally been able to grasp that position well. And Justin Houston's in that spot, and we saw what he could do as a true freshman, and now here comes Amari with the length that you like. There's a lot of space he covers with his length, and he looks really comfortable. Every scrimmage, from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2, you can just see the growth that he's had and how comfortable he is being out there. So probably as much as anyone. Maybe CJ Sanders done a really nice job. Kale, CJ. And so he's done a great job feeling comfortable being out there. He does a great job of breaking up passes. Maybe he got beat, but he just hangs in there and competes. You see that's what he's all about. But heady guy, the stage doesn't seem too big for him, and came in ready to go.
What was your reaction to Amari's spring statistics, and could there be a future on offense for him when some of these guys graduate?
Don't think that when that happened, and I saw the final stats, and I knew it was kind of happening during the season, and you'd see the progress he's making. That, telling the defense, you better find a place for this guy fast, or the offense is going to swallow him up. So there's going to be some trades in the mix, going back and forth, because he's impressive, and what he did there was amazing. His spring season, it was awesome.
One last question for me. With your first season with Fresno, fans finally coming back, do you have anyone, friends or family in particular, you're excited to see back in the stadium, see you coach?
Yeah, my own family.
Yeah.
My own family hasn't seen a game. I guess my wife made it to, and my youngest daughter, Avery, made it to the UNLV game. Mm-hmm. But that was it. So they haven't had a chance to watch any games. When we say the parents weren't here to watch, there was no one here to watch. My own family, administrators and their families weren't here. It was a quiet Bulldog Stadium, to say the least. So probably just start with them, and then you have your close friends and family. My parents will come out for some games. They always do, and some of your closest friends that you've grown up over the years with. So all of that, and that's just not for me. There's guys that have been here a couple of years now. Maybe they redshirted, and then the COVID year, their families haven't seen them play a game. So it's an exciting time. It's a time we even talked about yesterday where there's going to be distractions. There's going to be things that happen that some of you haven't been through, even if you're in your second or third year. And we got to know how to handle all that. And the guys are doing a great job. I think our growth and maturity as a team is really coming along.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, guys.